Hello, everyone. How are you? This amazing Wednesday night. We are the middle of the week. I know that it is crazy. So I'm excited for tonight. This is going to be a action-packed evening because we're going to talk about game plans. And hello, Lana. I see you there. Hello. Claudine, it's good to see you. Hello to everybody coming in. So make sure to drop in, say hello to me. I want to know you're here and that you're excited about tonight. I am very excited because we're going to talk about timelines, game plans, and essays. So Pranina, I think I'm saying your name right. I'm not positive, but welcome from YouTube. You're over on YouTube. And Julie, hello to you. Renee, everybody's saying hi. I'm super excited that you are here. So I don't know about you, but here in Texas, we've been having torrential flooding for 2 days. So I had to do a bunch of errands today, and I'm a little disheveled from feeling like I have been swimming, even though I haven't been. So I don't know where you are. I hope you've had beautiful weather, and we are very thankful for the rain. We needed it. So hello, Diane, Margie, Renee. I love seeing everybody's names. Paul, hello, Paul, Lori. I'm excited to have you guys all here tonight. So are you guys ready to jump in and learn about this new step the next step in this process? I love Kathleen says, howdy, howdy back to you. I always say, hi, y'all. So you get my Texas accent with the whole y'all thing at times. But we are going to jump in, and we are going to, like I said, go into your timeline, what that looks like, and just kind of really basically talk through that. So let me share my screen, get started here. Whoops. Give me 1 second. Technology is fun. I mean to turn off the camera. And let's get going. So I thought I would start with this particular slide because it made me really smile when I think about it, because I feel like probably one of the biggest things that are the biggest surprises, and you guys have heard me talk about this all week, is they need what? They need how many essays? And our kids had that same look, that deer in the headlights, like, oh my goodness, I thought I got to write one essay. Or I didn't think I had to write any essays. And there are a few schools out there that don't require essays. You can submit your application. Nothing else is required. And there are some of those schools out there, but the majority of them, that's not the case. So I wanted to go through and talk about the game plan, a little bit about the essays, and then we're going to talk about your timeline of what your students should be doing if they're in the 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, or 12th grade. So we're going to talk through that. Now, I do want to give a heads up to you guys so that you know that tomorrow night, a couple of things. It's a big night tomorrow. So hello, Michelle. So Elena, I see you there. Michelle, all of you, welcome, welcome, welcome. So a couple of different things. We definitely have a lot of YouTubers over there. So Diana and all of you, Margie, all of you guys over on YouTube, I want to encourage you, first of all, to make sure you subscribe to my channel. Those of you on Facebook, you can do that later as well, because I do and will be adding new videos, and I'm going to be adding a whole section on college visits because I'm on a lot of college campuses every year. And so I've decided to add those visits into a teaching kind of a from my eyes perspective, and it's not the whole curated, perfectly done, and this is how beautiful our campus looks all the time. This will be the real deal, so you'll get to see that behind the scenes tours with me. So you want to make sure you subscribe so you know when those are coming. Now tomorrow night, it's a big night. It's a couple of different things. So first of all, as you know, I love giving away things, and I'm going to be giving away more things tonight and tomorrow night. And tomorrow night is our grand prize. And so I really want you to be here because you want to know when you win. So I encourage you to be here tomorrow night. But more than that, we're going to talk about Uniquely You. We're going to talk about why it's important and how that can be a huge factor in your student getting accepted or not getting accepted. What it is, how you incorporate it, and why it impacts your students' application so much. And when I'm going through that, I'm going to dive into how you use that in your students' resumes, how you use it or how they use it in their essays, their supplemental essays, and all of the different questions within their scholarships, all of those things. So tomorrow night, not only will somebody win a grand prize, but you also are going to walk away with some of the most probably important information that you can use in your application, and your student can use in their application, whether they're a freshman just starting to develop this out, or whether they're a senior and they're trying to get those applications done immediately. So make sure that you are here tomorrow night, and we're going to jump into that. So, okay, so let's get started and let's talk about essays, right? Why and how many essays they need. So first, again, just for anybody who hasn't met me, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. I've talked about it in my other previous evenings, but my name is Dr. Gina Lester. I am an educational consultant. I have 25 plus years of experience. I have been working with kids in private schools, public schools, homeschool students in the arts, students in the sciences. I have a pretty vast knowledge of the college admissions process in general. I have a double master's degree in higher education and psychology, and my doctorate is in psychology as well. So I marry those two things together to really help our students not only understand themselves, but stand out in the college admissions process. This is my amazing family. My husband and I are both widows who have remarried. And like I always tell everybody, we're the modern day Brady Bunch because we have 6 kids between us, several daughter-in-laws and grandchildren. And I am also a best-selling USA Today and Wall Street Journal best-selling author. So that's a little bit about me. The Accepted Academy is my group coaching program, and I have just walked through with over 20 plus students, and this is just a very small handful of those students that walked through the Accepted Academy with last year, and these are just a few of the schools that they were accepted to and where their final decisions were. So it was really exciting. They're all heading off to college, and I'm super proud of all of them. So let's talk about essays. That's what you're here for. Okay. The average number of hours that are spent writing essays will be 15 plus. Students will probably spend more than 15 hours. I'm going to say that they're usually spending 20 or more hours. 15, I think, is the national average, but I think that's really low as we are now coming into this new test optional environment, and with all of the new COVID essays being added and just all the various things that are out there that have been added into um, the college admissions process, your students will spend potentially more than that. So this is just, I wanted you to be aware, because I think a lot of people think, oh, my student's going to sit down, they're going to spend a couple hours, going to write this essay. I'm going to look over it, I'm going to edit, they're going to go back, maybe spend another 30 minutes, and voila, that's done. Because that's what many of us as parents have done. That's what, maybe if you've had older students that have gone through the process, or nieces or nephews or neighbors, or your kids' friends that are older than them, and they're like, oh yeah, I just wrote an essay and did all this and got into school. Well, that's great, but that is not the reality of where we're at today. Right now, it is common for students to have to write 12 to 20 essays as part of their application. That is not unusual. Now, I will say that many of these essays can be intermixed. You can use the same essay for a couple of different prompts. So it's not always that they're having to write 20 completely different essays, but they will write about 12 separate essays if they are applying to highly competitive schools. Now, like I said, there are schools that are not, that they have a higher acceptance rate, that they're looking to bring in students. And when they have those high acceptance rates, they know that they don't need an essay, that if your student has the GPA, they're going to get in. So every now and then they might get lucky and have a school that doesn't have an essay, but that is not the norm. So I want to make sure that everybody knows that. I did see Michelle ask if there were good resources to strengthen writing skills. And I will put some of those into our Facebook group as just links. Really and truly, it's learning how to write their stories. And I think that when they're writing their stories, that's very different. They're used to writing in an AP, or the AP type English class that they're going to write in normally those essays and those different papers that they're writing. When they're writing for college, obviously they need to be, have a good flow. They need to still be grammar wise correctly, but it's all about telling their stories and learning how to tell their stories. And so, even going through and using books that teach you how to do screenwriting, stuff like that, actually can help them, because then they start learning how to tell and write in a story format. Okay, so let's talk about the successful steps to your essay. And these are all things that we're going to write about, or that will be included in essays to some extent. So the first one is the academic. So there are questions on the applications where it says, how do your academics tie into your major? So they want to know, if you're choosing this particular major, then did you take any academic classes that are going to align with that major? But I think the bigger question that always comes up is on the applications, they ask something along these lines. Is there anything about your academics that you have not shared previously that you would like to share now that's not already part of your application? And so most students, 90% of them, will not answer that question, because they're like, nah, there's nothing new. I don't need to tell you anything. But the reality is that this is a place where your student can actually stand out, and they can actually impact their application in a really positive way. For example, this is where they can talk about that dual credit class that they took, or they can talk about maybe their school, depending on like how they weight and those type of things. Maybe they want to talk about the weighting of the way their school does it. I have some kids who will say, there are kids that are higher ranked than me because they didn't take AP classes, and so that affected where I fell class rank. So you may want to talk about those things. So there's a lot of things that we can talk about in the academic area that you can add into that. But I think, like I said, one of the biggest ones really goes around maybe why you took, that you took 3 years of Spanish, but in doing that, you also now speak fluently, and you've gone out and took other things outside of school that you brought into your academics that you want to strengthen. So anyway, there's ways to do that. It just depends. I mean, this is not a place for you to go on and write a whole essay. This is a very typically short couple of hundred words that you're writing about something, but many times students, academics, maybe they have a lower grade point, maybe something happened, maybe they had a parent pass away, they had a family situation, maybe a grandparent passed away, maybe they had during the pandemic, they had situations where they were fighting some emotional issues and they didn't do well online. All of those things can be addressed in the COVID essay if it was specifically around the pandemic, but it's also a way that they can talk about this in the academics area. Number two, the second essay, and these are outside of your personal essay. So I do want to say that these are all essays that are outside of your personal essay. And these are kind of the high level. There are a lot of essays that come up where they will give you a quote from somebody who's famous, or somebody, like the president of that university or the founder of that university, that ties into what what they stand for. And then they want you to take that quote and apply it to your own life and tell how you align with that and why you align with it. So there are very quirky ones. There's one, TCU will say, this is a creative space. So you can do anything. You can create a poster, you can create a movie, you can write an essay, you can do whatever you want, and you upload it there. And like I said, that's a completely different thing. We have schools that will ask for students to record something and upload it instead of writing the essay. So there are all different ways that the schools look for things and ask for things that are outside of the main essays. But we have our personal essay, and then these are 6 main, what I would call overarching themes that we see that are on the actual applications. So a second one is activities. So it says, where do you spend your time? They want to know, they'll ask, what is one activity that you have been involved in that you want to share about? They want you to talk about that activity. And the reality is that if you, in your personal essay, use that to talk about, maybe you're passionate about theater and theater is a major thing in your life, and you talk about theater in that essay, and then you turn around and talk about it in your activities, those essays can't be the same. They have to be standalone, and they have to tell different stories, and they have to have a different impact on your application. And that's where I see a big mistake made, where kids will write their personal essay, and then they'll go through and they'll talk about leadership. Essay will be about theater, activities will be about theater, experiences, and it's all the same essay. They've just reworded it in 4 or 5 different ways. And that's a very negative mark, I guess, if you want to put it that way, on their applications, because they haven't shared anything new. And so it doesn't give the person who's looking at their application any new information to go on. Okay. The third overarching is leadership, and they want to know how you show up. Are you a passive participant? Are you an active member? So they want to see, and all of these things are also going to, as if you're a freshman, you want to think about, what are the activities that you want to spend your time in? Are you going to be actively involved? Are you going to take leadership roles? Because when you get to that point that you're going to write that leadership essay, you need to know that you have some leadership to talk about. Now, if you're a senior and you're thinking, well, I didn't have any leadership, I promise you did. You just have to think outside the box. Where did you show up? Where did you show leadership in your life, in your family, in your neighborhood, in your church, in your relationships, whatever? Where were you showing up as a leader? And that's where you're going to write that essay from. So that is a huge piece. Self-leadership is an important piece. So maybe you're going to talk about that in that leadership essay, your major. They want to know, what have you done? What have you studied? And how does that tie into your major? So if you're thinking that you want to go and you want to be a teacher, then you want to show that you've taught. Maybe you worked in volunteered at a daycare, or you helped like do tutoring for young children, or you participated in some classes at school that allowed you to go and work in the elementary school in your area. So there are a lot of different things. And so when you get ready to write that major essay about why your major, you can tell them why. They can tell, like, one of the things that I'll see is students will say, well, I wanted to major in engineering because I think, or let's just do this. I want to major in the medical field because I want to help people. And I know that being able to do research to find, a new drug that's going to cure an uncurable disease is like my passion. And that's so very generic. Like, I could attach that to any kid. So they want you to write about why and what your passion is and why you're choosing that major. Experiences. Now, experiences also falls under, this is a big topic right now. Almost every college is asking for a diversity essay. And like I said, kids typically immediately go to, oh, this is my race, this is my sexual orientation, this is maybe my demographics, those type of things. And yes, all of those things apply to your diversity. But the reality is that they're looking beyond that. Every one of us brings something, and this is our next, our last essay, that uniquely you, but every one of us bring new things to the table that somebody else. Okay, I think I'm back. I really apologize for that. Okay, I am so sorry, guys. My computer just decided to die in the middle of everything. So hopefully everybody is still hanging in there with me, that we're doing okay. And yes, I'm back. Thank you, Kathleen. If you're on YouTube, can you see me? Give me a thumbs up that on YouTube that you can see me. Thank you for saying no worries. You gotta love technology. I was like, oh no, where'd everybody go? Where'd I go? Okay, so I think we're back into full swing, hopefully. Everything is going to work, and we're going to stay good. So I'm going to keep moving. So again, I think I was in the middle of talking about your experiences, your uniquely you, and those pieces. So that's where that diversity piece comes in. So as your younger students are building these out, it's important for them to know these overarching topics so that they can prepare for them. For those of you who have seniors, don't worry about it. You just pull from the areas that they're already using. So that's a good thing to keep in mind moving forward. Okay. So let me see if I can. Okay, there we go. So why should you have a game plan in place early? So I want to make sure and just kind of share this. So a lot of people don't realize that your transcript is based upon the end of your junior year. So if your student ends their junior year and they don't have a strong transcript, then that means they're not going to be able to hit any of those early action priority deadlines. And those are important, even if you're not going to be applying early decision binding, that type of thing. There are reasons that you want to get those applications in. So for me, it's really important that our students have all of those applications done by early November. The deadlines actually start as early as October, that schools are looking for those students to get in and get those done. So first of all, when that's happening, those transcripts at their end of their junior year are the ones that they're going to be sending. So on their resumes, again, we want to build out really strong resumes. And when you have a plan, you can do that because their senior year activities go on there, but they haven't completed them. So it definitely makes a big difference. So you want to make sure that you are building out that resume ahead of time so it's as strong as possible because you are applying early. A lot of students have the misconception that, oh, I get to apply now. So many of you as seniors may just be getting ready to start your applications and you probably feel a little overwhelmed. You may feel a little behind, and that's okay. We're going to get it done. You're going to get it done. I'm going to help you. We're going to get through this. But the reality is if you're younger and you can start earlier, then you're in a much better place, because doing this at the last minute can definitely be overwhelming. You don't want to miss deadlines. Without a game plan, it's really easy. If you do not know that a deadline is November 1st and you don't have that application done and submitted and everything there, and you miss something, then the college isn't going to say, oh, I'm so sorry, you missed it, and we'll waive that. We're going to go ahead and let you come in anyway. No. They have tens of thousands of applications, and if you miss a deadline, you've missed a deadline. And they're really picky about things. There's one particular college that the college requires you to send in a separate scholarship application, and that has to be done prior to or at the same time, I guess, that you send in the actual application. Some schools will let you send in an application and then you can send in the scholarship separate. Some of them, your application is the scholarship, so it's varying. But I had this family call me and say, they kind of asked the question. They said, my child submitted their application to this school. We really wanted to submit the scholarship, and we called the school and they said, there's nothing they can do. Do you know, is there anything that can be done? And I'm like, no, if you missed, and this wasn't a student I was working with, they were just trying to figure it out. And I, wanted to help them as much as I could. But once whatever the school says, that's the deadline. So having a game plan, you need to know those dates so that you don't miss something important. And then it also allows you to have a list that's right for you. This is crucial in being successful in this process, because if you're applying to all schools that don't fit you, that are either all reaches, or that you haven't you're not going to fit on that university because you have different values and you align differently with it, then it's going to be frustrating at the end. So that's why you need to have a game plan early. And I'm going to talk about the game plan so you kind of know what you need to do. So one of the first things is emails. A lot of our kids are not emailers, and so they set up an email, and you want to get your student used to using email early, because the colleges are going to actually communicate 90% of the time through email. And if your student has email that's going, if the school says, hey, I didn't get your SAT scores. Oh, or I need you to sign into your portal. Have you done this? Or have you done that? And your student doesn't open those emails or look at them, then they're going to miss those deadlines. The other thing is that schools, and this is just a little secret tip, it's not really secret, but it's a little tip that a lot of people don't know. But when colleges are looking, they're trying to determine if your student is going to actually attend their university. So if they're sending your kids emails, they're going to be sending emails saying, hey, check out this, or here's this new information. And a lot of it is, what is just advertising their school, their programs. But they're looking to see if you're opening and your student are opening those emails. They're tracking that. If they're not opening those emails, then that says to them, you're not really that interested in the school. So having an email set up, being able to organize it, really putting things into right folders and things to that effect is going to be crucial. And getting your kids to understand to look at those promotion folders, to look in those spam folders, because sometimes things get sent there by whoever in the email world sends them to wherever. So, you want to make sure they're looking for those. So you don't want to miss those deadlines. And again, that's why having a game plan is going to be placed. Because like I said, not to miss, if you're applying early action decision, know when you're applying, have that on a calendar and be ready to go with that. Okay. So I'm glad. I think we're back. Everybody said we're back. And thank you guys for the thumbs up and letting me know I'm back on YouTube and Facebook. So we're good to go. So we're going to jump through though and go through a timeline. So I'm going to break this down into a couple of stages. So first of all, just overall, I want to look at 9th through 11th in general. So during this time period, your student should be exploring ideas for their major. And I know they're 14, they're 15, they're 16. I mean, they don't always have a clue as to what they want to major in. So this is where you want to help them find their interest, find the things that excite them. So as parents, we always see certain emerging interest or ideas or things, or we notice that, hey, they're really, they're always watching a certain TV show. Maybe they really love criminal shows and, like they're really enjoying learning how to, to do a certain thing. Maybe they're out there, they love creating or drawing, or they have an interest in music, or maybe they're constantly the kid building with Lego and all of those things. So we start seeing those interests come up. So then we can begin to suggest to them, maybe you should take a class along these lines. Maybe in the summer, we can look at attending a computer club, a computer class or a computer coding program so that you can learn, or a gaming, like a computer gaming program, or, you can maybe try to volunteer in an area that's of interest. And so I really say that first, 9th and 10th grade is all about exploration. It's all about them getting a chance to explore various things to determine where they really enjoy and what's exciting to them. Because as they do that, then it begins to let them decide, oh, maybe this could be a major. Maybe they really are the kid that always does the parties, and you're like, oh, they would be in a great event planner or working in communication somehow, things to that effect. So you want to give them opportunities to explore that. There are obviously lots of paid ways you can do that, but there's lots of free ways too that you can go out and do this and volunteer, or take free online courses, or do various things and job shadow with different people and so forth. So, definitely think outside the box with that. You're also going to begin to look at colleges. So a lot of the time students never get on colleges, or they don't even look for colleges until they're a senior. And the reality is when you're out vacationing, or you're driving through a town, or you just are like, oh, hey, we have some extra time, we should do something fun, or do something, we want to just do a quick weekend trip. take a trip and get on a college campus, because when they get on the campus, even if it's a school they never applied to, maybe it's just a local campus, they start getting a feel like, I like this or I don't like this, or I think this is interesting or not. And there's so many virtual options out there that they can definitely do that. And then again, attend college fairs. And most, well, I do know, not most, all the college fairs are now virtual as well. So you can actually go in and pop into different rooms and talk to representatives and counselors from all these various schools, ask questions and get to know the school. So it's starting to plant those seeds when they're younger. And obviously developing their uniquely you. Tomorrow I'll go all into that, so I'm not going to talk about that much, but also planning for test prep, whether it's PSAT, SAT, ACT, all of those things. Definitely having a summer plan. We want our kids to go on vacation, have fun, enjoy family time. Some kids work when they get a certain age. They want to hang out with their friends. All of those things should absolutely be done. They're kids, they're teens. They need to enjoy life. But at the same time, they can also maybe do a research paper. Maybe they're going to write poetry because they love poetry. Maybe they're going to take an online class or attend a summer camp or go on a mission trip. So think about what they can do, and during the summer, maybe just a single activity that's going to allow them to build out those portfolios and their resumes and those things. And then, of course, they can start applying for scholarships. Outside scholarships are very difficult to get, and there's a lot of pros and cons to that, but they can definitely start looking for and applying to scholarships early. Okay, so let's talk freshmen. So freshmen, again, think about careers and college majors. This is your school year. You're heading into your freshman year. This is what you need to be thinking. What interests you? Set goals for yourself. If you are very unorganized or you are not good at planning and things to that effect, then sit with your student and help them figure out a plan that's going to help them do well academically, because their academic career started as soon as they took that first high school credit. If it was in 7th or 8th grade, it's already there. So set goals for yourself. If you're trying to be in that top tier of most selective schools, then you're going to need to be in the top of your class. And I think we can all look at our kids realistically as they're entering high school, and talk to them realistically about, okay, these are going to be great schools for you, or, what type of school do you want to go to, and thinking through like where they need to be academically to get into those schools. Participate in activities, sports, clubs, that's a pretty given. Grades, that's a big thing. Keep your grades up. Take the most challenging courses. I challenge yourself and get A's and B's. If a student gets a B, it's not going to keep them out of most colleges. So, I really encourage students to find balance, and our mental health is really huge, especially in all of this time that we've been through. So if your kid is not, if they make a B, sometimes our kids can be harder on themselves, but let them know that's not going to keep them from being successful in life. And so I think just hearing that from somebody else can be a really positive thing for them. They need to think about their 4 years. So when you think about, do I want to be an engineer? Then you know that if you're going to be an engineer, you need to take algebra, you got to take geometry, you need to take algebra 2, you need to take pre-cal, you need to take calculus. You might want to take statistics or any of those others. So the more math, the more sciences such as physics and those higher classes, you're going to need those to be competitive. So if that's the case, then you need to plan that. If you are not taking advanced classes, or you're not thinking about that, then it's easy to all of a sudden get to your senior year and realize, oh, I didn't take the classes I needed. I had, I've seen that happen multiple times to students who are like, oh, I wanted to do this, but I didn't know that they required 3 years of the same foreign language to get into that school. And then they're in the middle of their senior year and they're like, I only took 2 because I only needed 2 years to graduate. But this particular school wants 3, or you have 3 and they're not the same. So you really need to think through that 4-year schedule starting early to make sure you're on course for where you're wanting to go. And then, of course, like I said, don't waste your summer, do fun things. Okay. Sophomores, again, continue. It's a lot of the same stuff, challenging classes, keep your grades up. You should try the PSAT at this point. Do some practice for it. There are PSAT books. I don't really recommend that you take a PSAT class. I mean, there are some that are out there, but I find that kids are typically either really good test takers and they're going to do well in the PSAT, or they're not. So, but it does help you project your SAT scores, and it gives your child a chance to practice a standardized test. And it gives you an idea of what you need to begin to work for, and those type of things. So let's see. Somebody said we've been to at least 40 college campuses. Wow, that is amazing, Claire. That's impressive. I'm typically on 25 to 50 campuses a year. So I'm impressed that you've been to 4. So that's good. Get on those college campuses with your kids. And keep it moving forward. So keep up with activities. You can take career assessments. This is a good time to do aptitude testing, interest testing. Find what their Myers-Briggs is. All of those things go into helping kind of them understand themselves, and their sophomore year is a good time to begin thinking about that. Again, continue to think about schools. What are some schools that are really interesting to your student? And again, start thinking about how you can get on those campuses, and then look at what you're going to use for your junior year. So you're kind of going through, make sure, is everything still in aligned? Have you shifted? Did you start this with 2 ideas for a major and now you shifted and you realize, okay, I really need to add in more business classes or a business elective because I really want to go business versus engineering. So all of those things are important your freshman and sophomore year. So it's planning and preparing. That's what I say freshmen and sophomores do. Now, juniors, you are now moving from the preparing into the doing. So for you, this is the most academically important year you're going to do. You need to focus. This is also typically the most difficult year because our kids are taking they're taking lots of AP courses, typically are IB or advanced courses or dual credits. And this is a year that's all about test. So they start out in October taking the PSAT. They're taking test prep in the fall. Typically, if your student has finished algebra, geometry, algebra 2, and they've done pre-cal, or they're typically I like them to finish pre-cal, or if they're in the middle of that pre-cal, then they can start looking at taking these SAT and ACT tests in the fall. Otherwise, they should wait until the spring to take them, just so they have more math under their belt. Unless they're just an amazing test taker and they're going to blow it out of the water just because they're great at that. College visits, absolutely. Almost every high school gives students days off to go visit colleges. Take advantage, find out what your policies are, and take those days and go visit college. Make memories with your kids. My favorite memories with my kids were actually some college visits where we went and we spent the day together and we went on a road trip and we just had a lot of fun and connected. And so make it about them and make it fun. Get them dreaming. That's a big piece. You want to go deep into your activities. So now you've been exploring, you've got these activities, you should be able to start taking on leadership. You should be able to potentially start winning maybe some awards or competing in some of the competitions because you've been doing it a little bit longer. Those type of things. Maybe you want to start your own club because there's something you found that you're really passionate about. So those are all things. And of course, this is probably the biggest year for your summer. So definitely between your junior and senior year, you want to be doing some major like internship or doing some kind of research project or taking some kind of courses or being involved in a camp of some kind that is going to really strengthen your resume, your application, and your major. So if you're a junior, that's what you want to look at. Again, take classes that are showing that demonstrated interest into your major. Now, seniors, now it's time. You're in it's time, it's here, you're a senior, and all of the amazing things that come with that. So congratulations, you've made it. You've gone through 11 years of school, and this is like the big year for you. All the fun things happen, but it's also application season. It's open, and it's the final stage to reach your next steps and your dreams. Okay. So let's talk through what you're going to do. So step one, you're going to get your college list and you're going to put organization in place. So you want to finalize that college list. You want to make sure you have your email set up right. You want to make sure you've got folders. You've got all of the things to be successful in this process so that you're not losing things that whether it's coming through email, whether it's physical mail that's coming in, whether it's something you're doing online. You need those organization pieces in place. Step two is you're going to set up your applications and complete your profiles. So all of the big major applications, whether it's Common App, Coalition, Universal App, California App, or Apply Texas, or even the, some of the main institutional applications. So you got to figure out where all your applications are. And then you want to set those up and make sure that you're going through doing all the demographics. And parents, you probably will have to help with this to some extent because it asks questions about your finances. It asks questions about your degrees, their parents, like siblings, all that kind of stuff. So that's your demographic. So you want to get that completed because that's just sitting and repeating and getting all that information in. Then we typically move into that personal essay, which is also part of those big applications. Now, I will say that most of the time you can write one that will cross over a couple of different platforms, but sometimes I have kids that have to write 2 or 3 personal statements because the essay questions, maybe they have an institutional app and the questions on that are very different maybe from the Common App, or they're writing the California app, which has 5 essays just in itself. So, sometimes there are different essays, but we hopefully at least get one personal essay completed up front that goes to most of your applications, so that you at least are getting those done. Then you're going to set up and start all the supplemental essays. So that now means all those extra essays, all the extra questions that every single school asks. So after you do your profile, you then move into the other piece where you're going to actually fill out all the individual applications, okay? And the essays. Then you're going to move to resumes, letters of recommendation. Parents, in October, you get to do FAFSA, CSS profile, the CSS profile scholarships. So scholarship applications that are for merit aid. That's what I'm talking about. That is the biggest money your students are going to get. So you want to make sure that all those scholarship apps are getting finished, essays for those, so forth. Then we turn the corner. Most applications are due by December 15th. That's the typical early deadlines that are non-binding, that's going to get you a decision quicker, hopefully. We do have regular decisions that are in January and February, but my suggestion is really to get those apps done because you can send them in and it's fine. Even if they're not going to look at them until January, at least you've got it off your plate before Christmas. That's the thing. You want it off of your plate and moving forward. And then in January or February, if you have schools that do interviews, you're going to be doing those. If you applied to a school and you got deferred, then we're going to talk about that. If you got waitlisted, we need to talk about those things. And are you going to stay on a wait list? Are you not? If you get deferred, then you need to go back and send in more information, add to your application, and build it where it's stronger, so that you have a better. So it means they didn't deny you, but they didn't accept you. So now you have to strengthen that application with your senior year information. I do say that if your student has a very weak academic profile, maybe they had a really bad junior year, just really bad, or a sophomore year, and you really need those senior year grades, go ahead, get the application done, completely completed, but wait until they're, if it's due on January 15th, wait until January when you get those senior year scores and then send it in there. So there's all of these different, I know I'm sending a lot of stuff. You guys can go back and watch this again and think, what did she say? You can go back and watch it. Okay. It's going to be here. You can watch it over and over so that you make sure. And then step 8 is final decisions, deposits, and orientation. So I'm going to stop there because I have some questions. And if you have questions, drop them in. I want to make sure that I get those. So Michelle asked, what do most Christian colleges use for applications? Is there one place option for those like Common App? There is not a one place. And I will tell you, there are a lot of Christian schools, I would say a big percentage of them, that will be on the Common App. There are some that are on the Coalition app. So basically each college chooses where they're going to pay to have their applications hosted. We have schools like MIT that is a massive major school, and they're not on any application. You have to do it through their website. And we have small Christian schools that are going to make you go through their websites to do them. And then we have some that, like if you're applying in Texas, a lot of the small Christian colleges will be on the Apply Texas, or, different applications like that. So there is not, for any school, whether it's a Christian school, a Catholic school, a state school, a private school, there is not a one place that all colleges land, unfortunately. Okay, so let me go through that. Yes, Ari, there is a checklist of things to look for at a college, on college campuses. I really encourage you to talk with the students that are taking you on those tours, because they're a wealth of information. Just ask them, what do you like? What do you not like? What's your favorite things? Where do kids hang out? I always tell, like, some of my biggest tips are, go get the school newspaper. That's going to give you a lot of information about the school. You're going to learn so much by reading the articles that they write in the newspaper. Make sure you're visiting the actual departments and the buildings. You can actually set up calls and meet with professors. If you're going to do engineering, go look at the engineering building. Make sure to go in, check that out, talk to students if you can, talk to somebody in the office. People are very engaging and welcoming at most of the campuses. So when they're open and you're able to get on them, that typically is the case. Also, go have lunch on the campus, because you're going to eat there for a long time. So you want to go in and have lunch and, sit and watch and see how you interact with the kids. There's always what we call a mall area. I think that's really what I call it, is the mall area. Colleges will call that too, but it's kind of a central location that's got an outdoor space and kids are all hanging out. Walk around, see how your student feels. Are the kids engaging? Are they, you can just get a feel for what the campus is going to be like by looking at those things. And then go to a local, like outside the campus, go around to like a coffee shop, things like that. See what the outside campus is going to feel like. So hopefully that gives you a quick little checklist area. Then Renee asked, somebody else answered her. Georgette, what is a good online resource for finding colleges that match your interest? Actually, on Monday night, I'm going to walk you guys through how to find your college list and how to look and where to look and all of those things. So that's going to be a bonus training. So make sure you come to that, and you will see that. Definitely the College Board itself does have some resources on there that you can use that will walk you through like researching colleges, things to that effect. But I'm going to show you how to research and where to look for those type of things. So somebody asked, where can I watch this presentation again? I missed the first 20 minutes. No problem. It is on Facebook. It is also on YouTube. And on Friday, I'm going to send out an email that has all the links to all 4 days, because we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and tomorrow's Thursday. And then on Saturday, we're doing it's at 11 a.m. Central Time. So that would be 9 for those of you on the West Coast and noon for you on the East Coast. And then I will resend out those email again once we get all the videos up, so that you have those to go back and watch. I'm just trying to see. Some of you talked about the resume. I will talk more about that resume tomorrow, kind of share with you a little bit of how I format it. So you'll get an idea about that tomorrow. And some examples of strong summer activities. Really and truly, it's really thinking outside the box and finding things that really you're passionate about. So activities can literally be, a lot of times kids think, oh, I have to take a course. Well, yeah, there are definitely online courses. Harvard offers free courses. You can go in and take free online courses. But it can be, and you can attend a camp. There are great summer camps that you can attend. Almost every single university across the nation offers like different camps that your kids can go and take that are anywhere from science related to arts related to writing related to creating movies, whatever those things look like. Now, some people think, oh, if I take a class, if I go to a camp at, over at Harvard, then that means that I'm going to get into Harvard. No. Where you go to that camp has nothing to do with whether you're going to get accepted or not. Okay. So don't do it for that reason. You would want to do it because you really want to be at that camp. Now, some of those are more pricey. They're like 2 or 3 weeks. So it may or may not be feasible depending on your financial budget. But the other things that you can do is internship. Figure out what it is that your student wants to learn. Maybe they want a job shadow. Think about the people you know. Do you know somebody that owns a small business that a student could come and work with them? Could they work with a nonprofit? I had a student this year that she's just now getting ready to be a junior. And so between her sophomore and junior year, she internshipped online for a nonprofit organization that she applied to be an internship for. So they can do things to that effect. Now, on their own time, they can do research projects. There are programs where they can reach out to the colleges and do research-based projects that with a specific professor. Those are available. So look at the local universities around you, and are there like summer, you can look at what they're offering for high school students. That will be on their website. So you can just research their websites and find those things. They can have jobs. Jobs definitely are not a negative thing on their resume. So they can definitely do that as well. And it can be something that they love art and they create an entire portfolio, or they want to do architecture. So they create a lot of architecture and pictures, and maybe they take some classes around that. So all of those are activities. And like I said, it doesn't, there are great paid ones. Outward Bound is a great one. If you have a student that loves being out in the wilderness and all of those type of things, Boy Scout, Girl Scout awards, those, top ranking ones, those type of things are great summer experiences, and they look good on your resume. So all of those things go into really strengthening that resume. So I'm looking, and I think I've answered all of the questions. I just want to make sure that I don't miss anything. Yep, I think we've got all of the comments. If anybody else has anything, I hope that this has been really helpful for you tonight. And so, again, I wanted to just really make sure that I helped you guys get through and know what you were looking for and answered all of your questions, because I know the timeline, I know all of these things can really be overwhelming. So I'm getting lots of thank yous, great information, all of those type of things. So I'm really glad to hear that. That's important. So what will tomorrow night's topic be? Okay. So again, before I'm going to do a drawing here in a minute, and I'm going to give away tonight 2 books. And so what I decided to do is tonight's going to be 2 books. Tomorrow night, somebody's going to win the grand prize, which is going to include a year into my Purposeful Parent membership. And so somebody gets that. And that's a huge prize. So I'm super excited to be able to give that away. We will not meet on Friday. And on Saturday morning at 11 a.m., I'm going to give away a test prep. So when we do Saturday morning, you're going to want to be here to see if you're one of the winners to the test prep program. Now, tomorrow night, I am going to dive in. So in addition to this grand prize that you want to be here and win, and I'm going to give you some special ways to get your name into the drawing extra time. So I'll share that in a second. But you want to make sure tomorrow night we're going to talk about uniquely you. And this is, to me, it is my passion. I spent a lot of time building out this program. And the reason that I feel like one of the reasons that I see that my students are all so successful, not just in getting into college, but into getting the scholarships that they really want, and getting those dollars and being able to lower that cost of college, is because they know how to use their uniquely you. They know how they know what it is. They are able to discover that within themselves. They are able to put that in their essays, in their resumes, throughout their whole application, and really stand out in the process. And so tomorrow night, you want to make sure you're here so that, that you learn that particular piece of it. So that's what tomorrow night's all about. And then on Saturday morning, I'm going to put it all together. So we're going to come together and I'm going to walk you through, again, the application from, what each step is. We'll dive into that more so that you have that kind of overall understanding and plan. So hopefully, Christine, that helps you know what we're doing tomorrow, and you're welcome. So just real quick, those of you on YouTube, I want to make sure you subscribe to my channel. Those of you in Facebook, there is a link inside the emails that will allow you to also just go ahead and follow as well, because I do put up more videos that I'm going to be spending. I'm actually adding more content. I'm kind of new to YouTube, but I really know that that's a great place for me to add college visits and other things. So that's going to all be happening over there. So you want to make sure to do that. Now, I'm going to give away 2 books, but before I do that, I want to let you know that your homework for tonight is to go through and just under the homework, I want you to post something that you learned in the timeline that maybe you didn't realize, something that was new for you tonight, that you kind of your big takeaways. That's the easy part of the homework. But I also want to give you an opportunity to get your name in the drawing extra time. So I know you guys have said thank you, and it means a lot to me. And I really want to make sure that I'm giving you everything and that I'm helping you and those things. So if you are willing to go into the Facebook group, and if you're not on Facebook, again, YouTubers, you guys can email this to me. Okay. If you're not on Facebook, just send me an email with this information in it. So send your takeaway. But if you'll also send me a testimony, why somebody should want to come to one of my classes when I do this. And again, I think I said this the first day, but I won't be doing this particular one again this year. It won't be until next spring. So you guys that are seniors are getting all the goodness right now, but for next year's groups as they're coming in. So if you give me a testimony of why you liked it, why somebody should attend, then you get your name in the drawing 2 times. And if you're brave and you're willing to give a quick video, just record on your phone, go live in my Facebook group, or YouTubers, you can send me just a quick video that shares why, again, why, then you get 5 extra times on the wheel. So that means that your name gets in for both the big drawing tomorrow night plus the test prep on Saturday. So hopefully all of that is not too confusing. But I like to reward you if you're willing to give me those testimonies and share why you've learned from what you've learned and why it's a good, why you would recommend it. Then that's going to be a blessing to me, and I want to bless you guys back. So I'm going to take a second and let me share my screen, and we're going to do a drawing. I'm going to give away 2 books. Okay. Are we ready to go? And Miss Debbie, you're going to get those names. And the first book goes to Iris Claire. Is Iris here? Are you on YouTube or Facebook? I'm not sure if you're here or not, but say woohoo in the comments if you're here. I'm super excited. I don't know if I saw Iris's name or not, but Iris won our first book for tonight. And our second book is going to go to Michelle Harkins. I think Michelle did I see Michelle here? I know she's been here. I was trying to see if I see Michelle in the comments. Yeah, Michelle is here. Woohoo, Michelle. Congratulations. So Michelle and Iris, if you both will absolutely make sure to send me a message with your physical address, I can get these books in the mail to you. That would be great. So I wanted, before I end, just make sure there's no other questions. If anybody has any questions, I want to make sure to answer this. I know, Georgette, it does feel very overwhelming. And hopefully this is helping break it down a little bit for you, so that you can take a few different, take a little bit of a breath. So yeah, woohoo, Michelle, I see you. She's excited. So I look for that. You can send me an email with your address. That would be great. And then again, just to recap, tomorrow night, Uniquely You, huge, great, important to be there. Make sure you post your biggest takeaway, something new you learned tonight, in the homework under the Facebook group, or email it to me if you're on YouTube. If you're willing to write a testimony, you get your name on the drawing 2 extra times. Again, that can be emailed to me, or it can be posted on Facebook. And then if you're willing to go live on my Facebook page and give a video, or if you want to email me a quick video of you on just from your phone, then you get your name 5 times. And then tomorrow night will be our big grand prize winner. So I'm super excited, and hopefully you guys got a lot from and thanks for being patient with my computer deciding to die in the middle of all that. So we all hung in there together and it all came back. So we're good. But I hope you have a great evening. I can't wait till tomorrow to get to share all this great information with you. If you're in the VIP, you can head over to the Zoom room, and I will be right there to chat with you this evening. So have a great time, a great night, and I will see you guys all tomorrow. So anyway, bye for now.